All right. We'll call this meeting to order. I don't see any changes to the agenda. A motion?
Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve the agenda as posted.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The first item on our agenda is indigent business.
Chantel Lou of Indigent Services. The first case that I have for you is case number 2023-0015. It's an application for cremation expenses submitted through Wilkes Funeral Home in the amount of $1,200. So the application was submitted by the funeral home as well as the estranged daughter of the deceased. I was not able to obtain any information from the state's website. And so the information that I was able to obtain is that the deceased was a 64-year-old male. He was a Bannock County resident. He was not a veteran. The funeral home and the estranged daughter did state that he was receiving Social Security benefits, but did not know the amount. He was not receiving any food stamps. He was not on Medicaid, was not receiving any state assistance. So with that information, there is nothing that I was able to find. Didn't have any assets or property that I was able to find. So there's nothing that would disqualify him for assistance. And the estranged daughter did say that she would repay the county for assistance. It doesn't have any resources to pay for the final expenses, so everything indicates that they would meet criteria to be eligible for assistance through the county, and there is a repayment plan upon approval of this application. So I would yield to the commissioner, the Board of County Commissioners, in regards to the application and their decision for that one. And the next case that I have for you is case number 2023-0016. It's an application for cremation expenses through Wilkes Funeral Home in the amount of $1,200. The deceased is an 83-year-old male. He was homeless, staying with his friends at the time of his death. He was a Bannock County resident. He was a veteran. However, he was not eligible for veteran benefits at the time of his death. With the information that I did obtain, it does appear that he meets criteria to be eligible for assistance. The Bannock County does appear to be the last resource for final expenses. Recommendation is an approval of this case, and there is no responsible party for repayment of this request at this time.
Okay. Comments or motion?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve case number 2023-0015 and 2023-0016.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Do you know if anybody was showing up from the sheriff's office?
It says signature on it.
I had questions.
What's the question? I might be able to answer it.
Well, yes and no. One is, in here, the federal wage provisions of the Davis-Bacon Act. Are we meeting that criteria?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other one was just, we've been getting, from the Forest Service complaints about people burning in these parking lots that we are responsible for. But one of them is in Caribou County, and I just wanted to.
Oh.
There he is. Come on up. Just drive.
Good morning.
Good morning. We just pulled you up on the agenda,
Okay.
and Christy and Ryan answered the one question, make sure that we was paying the wages that are required
Correct.
in the contract. And then the other part is we've been getting complaints from the Forest Service about people burning pallets in these parking lots. Have you guys heard anything about it?
Not that I've heard of.
No, I haven't heard any complaints. No one's called us about it.
Okay, yeah, the Forest Service has talked to us about it, and so did the Snow Grooming Board when they come in. But the one on Crystal Summit is not in your area of authority, correct?
Crystal Summit?
Yeah, it's in Caribou County, or
that's
Power County.
That's Power.
Howard County.
So I just as I was looking at the areas, and that one's not in this contract either.
Yeah.
The one up Crystal Summit, but one of Inman Canyon is, and I just didn't know if you guys are receiving many complaints or
I haven't
what's going
heard
on.
anything specifically about complaints on burning pallets in the parking lot. I know we have in the past when we were in patrol, and that was kind of a sporadic thing. It happened, and we'd show up and it stopped. I mean, so.
They had a picture of their truck that had two flat tires,
Huh,
the plow truck. Because
okay,
pallets have been burnt in the parking lot.
okay. We'll
So-
make sure somebody goes up there.
Something to be aware of, I guess.
And I know generally these contracts deal with the summer months, so I don't know if they make it a practice to go up there to the parking lots, they do. This generally pertains to the summer months when all the campers and stuff are up there. So, yeah, I know what you're talking about as far as the
Yeah,
pallets.
like I said, just in the last 2 weeks, we've gotten
We'll check
reports
with
from
our
Forest Service.
crew, we'll check with the captain, see if he's heard anything from our guys, but,
Well, and that's what we've asked them is if there's a problem, report it.
well, that's,
Kind of like when we was down there, well,
Yeah.
if we don't know anything about it, it's pretty tough to take care of it. And you can't be up there all the time.
right.
Any other questions or concerns?
No, it's just, Commissioner Crowder, any questions about this contract? I know you haven't seen this one before.
I read through it. I'm
Okay.
fine with it.
Yeah. And generally, this is for summer, like I said. And then later in the years, if they have extra monies, like they did last year, they'll award us money for equipment, purchase equipment. So, and they did that in 2022. So, but that'll be like a new contract that we brought in later in the year.
Yeah.
It'd be similar, just kind of state that amount in equipment. So, and that hadn't happened for a lot of years, so I'm kind of surprised to get that.
Well, good. We'll take it.
Yeah,
Motion?
Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve the contract as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
thanks.
And might as well stay around for a second. Okay. I'm gonna move it up to them and then, or they may come in together a little bit. We'll see. Go ahead, come on up. Let's talk about the jail there.
Dan said that you guys have a digital copy of that, but I printed some out so you guys can have paper copies as well, so.
You guys do this.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Dan Kendall, Facilities Director.
Levi Waldron, Maintenance Director for the Sheriff's Office.
Our insurance company and their engineers have come up with a list of equipment that would be covered and gave us a couple of options that are available, and Levi's gone through and made sure that it is what he wants and it'll work for what he's got going on, and he's here to answer any questions you might have.
So go ahead and go over it and go over the
So,
request.
I guess a brief explanation. The first page, that's MKA, I summarized all that up in the second page. So that's basically the options, and then the line numbers correspond with. Line 1 is our domestic hot water storage tank. There's two options presented. They're both the exact same cost. That will be the cost recommended to insurance for like, kind, and quality. So that one will be just based on who's most available or readily available on the storage tank. Line 2 is a plate and frame heat exchanger for our heat pump loop. There's only one option presented, so the decision's pretty obvious on that one. We're going to come back around to line 3. Line 4, there's two options for our building heat boilers. One is an exact replacement of what we had previously, and the other option is an upgraded, more efficient stainless steel option with more redundancy. The reason that, so Hal, Jensen, Dan, and I met and kind of discussed all these. The reason that we are leaning towards option 2 is there's a chemistry adjustment that had to take place for our temporary equipment to go in. We have cast iron boiler right now where we had aluminum before, so there's a chemistry adjustment that had to take place. That was fairly costly, and then to go back to aluminum would be fairly costly again, to the point where we actually save money to go with the more redundant and more efficient stainless steel option. Line 5 is our domestic hot water boiler, and that's really the one that I was back and forth on. Option 1, again, is an exact replacement of what we had, which you can see there was only one boiler. We had no redundancy on that system. So if that boiler went down, we were in emergency mode for hot water, for showers, dishwashing, cooking, etc. Option 2 gives us redundancy. There'd be 2 smaller boilers that work together or independently. So if one goes down, we can still rely on the other one to carry us over until we get the repairs taken care of. Redundancy is one of my favorite words out there. It makes my life easier, and we're functioning 24/7, 365 out there. We have inmates that we have to provide services to. So again, that, and it breaks it down right down there below. The cost is $11,473 more than option 1, and option 1 would be like, kind, and quality that insurance would recommend. So we can offset that cost by eliminating line 3, which was a plate and frame heat exchanger that gave us some redundancy in the winter months, but in the summer months we had no redundancy. That would not be recommended that we put that in if we go with option 2. So that saves $7,000 and some change right there. And then we would still have $4,461 to cover to make the difference. I have a recommendation on how we can cover that, unless you guys have other recommendations. In our budget, in our maintenance budget for fiscal year 23, we have $8,000 for boiler service and repair. So far in fiscal year 23, we don't own a boiler. We are renting boilers. We've spent nothing of that money, and so that was one thought of where we can cover that extra $4,461, unless you guys have any other thoughts or suggestions that way.
Okay.
And then the other options are pretty self-explanatory. Line 6 and line 8 are the 2 that we'd be comparing on the cooling tower. Line 6 is an exact replacement and significantly more affordable than line 8, which would be a stainless steel basin and a different style of cooling tower.
So I'll just tell you where I'm at. I want it to be upgraded to your standard. And whether we use ARPA funds or whatever funds we have to. I mean, this was a terrible thing that happened, but we're going to take advantage of it. And if the insurance will pay X amount, and then we have to come up with a few extra dollars to put it at a standard that isn't 20 years old, that's my opinion.
Yeah, like on comparing line 6 and line 8, what do we gain from the stainless steel cooling tower as opposed to the fiberglass tower?
Well, it's more expensive. We've got a long lead time on that. I don't know that we gain anything, but it does create, honestly, more work. There is some chemistry issues when you go from the fiberglass to the stainless steel. They call it white rust, and our chemist has explained that all, but it's there's a reason he's a chemist and I'm a maintenance guy. But there's additional work and monitoring that would go into the stainless steel basin as opposed to the good old trusty fiberglass cooling tower that has worked for 26, 27 years now, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
you weren't just basing it off of money, but it was, the right thing to do was stay with where you're at.
In a
It
sense, they
works.
do the same thing, but stainless steel is expensive.
Okay.
That's what we'd be gaining. I don't know that as far as the life of the cooling tower, we'd be gaining anything. I mean, like I said, this one is 26 years old, and yeah, there's been some repairs that have happened. You know, we have to replace fan motors, and I'm not sure if they've replaced the media in that over the years or not, but I mean, I think that the fiberglass is
Okay.
a fine option for where we're at, so.
John?
I'm happy with his recommendations.
Yeah.
On the funding source, I mean, if you have $8,000, let's utilize it. But if it's easier to qualify for ARPA funds, I'm willing to do that also. That's-
Yeah.
This is essential. I mean, it's just plain and simple, so.
Right.
It isn't always that we have we're gonna have the ARPA funds, and if we can utilize them in a way, I'm willing to do that.
And one thing I did fail to mention, and I don't know that I had this information when we had met. So these numbers are fairly old. I think they're from November when they collected these prices, so there is chance that as they get new updated pricing, there's a little bit of fluctuation, but it's gonna be in the ballpark, so.
I'll call for a motion here in a minute, but we're giving you the okay to go with your recommendations, and as the price adjusts a little bit, then we can talk about it.
How much are we talking without the price adjustment? Is it this?
Is it up or down?
I mean, I'm only seeing what was in the packet, so is it 54,951? Is that what we're talking, basically 55,000? Or,
And it's not very clear on the bottom of that
did Teresa
table,
put this
but,
together with you?
what's that?
Did Teresa put this together?
No, this was provided by MKA. They're the company that is consulting with iCrimp on the
Okay.
repairs to be done, so.
Yeah, if you could just let me know dollar-wise, and then I can look with Brian to make sure where we can fit it, if it's gonna be general county money or if it's gonna be
We need something else.
in a category.
Okay. And this is also, this is not a complete list of, this gets us back in business. This is just the equipment that we need to order because we have lead times that we're gonna be facing, and so.
Time is of the essence.
We can work the money side out, I just need to
Yeah.
Okay.
figure it out.
So, Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that we accept Levi's recommendations for the equipment options and have him work with auditing to find the funding source.
Question?
No, is that okay?
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. How is it going out there? I was thinking about that this morning when I came by there.
Engineering is slow.
Is it?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Christie.
Mr. Plaza, Comptroller? I have before you an update on the ARPA funds that Brian and I were able to find within categories. Since I sent this in the packet, I'm not sure if Christie had time. Last week, we added $15,000 for the sewer fix. So I emailed that yesterday, and I emailed that to everybody so that they have it, at least electronically. Everything in blue within this document comes up to $6,082,500, and those are items that Brian and I feel fit within expenditure categories. The jail roof and the forensic pathology will have to fall within the revenue sharing money of the $10 million that we've got to spend out of the $17 million total. That leaves us $3 million left to spend. Looks like we're gonna have a little bit more. We'll figure out how the jail remodels fit into here. We do need to come up with $973,000 in expenditure category items of that $3 million that's left.
Very good report, thank you.
And then if you could, within the documents I attached, we've got the project information sheets. This is a little bit ahead, but I'd rather be ahead than not. I will have to report on the microwave project this quarter. That report will be due April 30th. But the other items, we really haven't started spending money yet. But if you would approve all of them that are in the packet, then again, we're ahead, and then I only have to come before you with new projects.
Yeah, that's a great report. I mean, it has more information than we've had in the past, and the direction and everything, so thank you.
I'll look through that real quick.
And on a side note, the local, the extra PILT money that we got, that report was due 3/31, so I submitted that yesterday. We haven't spent any money.
Okay.
It's kind of ARPA related. It's the same reporting system.
Okay.
So just approve the information forms is what you were looking for? Okay.
And then I won't come before you for these projects.
Right. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the ARPA project information forms for reporting purposes as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Well, I'd like to hold off a second
Okay.
here and talk about this. You're asking for approval on several different projects here. I'm not sure exactly what we're approving with this. I didn't realize we were going to go individually on these things.
I can run through them really quick, and then if you have any questions, then we can pull whichever ones you don't like out.
The only one I'm interested in is the pathology lab. So you're asking us to approve what exactly?
Well, the funds have already been approved to use $7 million for forensic pathology.
Right.
The only approval I'm asking is that as we start expending money, then I will report those dollars as general revenue, revenue replacement monies, revenue replacements in that category when I have to report to ARPA. So we have the expenditure categories that are specific to how the funds are spent, and then we have $10 million in general revenue.
Right.
And that's where that $7 million is going to have to fit.
So what you're asking us to approve today is your reporting process? Okay.
And I will only report on the forensic pathology up to $7 million, which is all that's been approved by the board.
Right, right. So this has nothing to do with whether or not we want to spend money on a particular thing. It's just whatever's been approved as it comes to you, how are you going to report it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm good.
Good. All right, we have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Like I say, very good report, thank you. That gives me a clear picture.
And I'll keep updating it as projects come up.
We just have one.
Just the one,
Okay.
I think. All right. Let's go with Tristan.
All right, Tristan Borquin, Planning Assistant Director. We have before you the easement agreement between City of Pocatello and Bannock County for the 6th Street vacation. It's been reviewed by city and county legal, and it's ready for approval and signature.
Okay, questions? Glad to get it vacated.
Our legal department's taking a look at this.
And you've looked at this, yep. Questions?
No. I'm
Motion?
excited to move forward. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept the easement as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Thanks, Tristan.
Of course, that was easy. And then I can take it from you and deliver it to Merrill Quayle, and he'll submit it to City Council for their signature, and then we'll come back for recording after that.
Okay. Well, when you take it, will you just stop with Christie and make sure she doesn't need anything?
Yes, I can do that.
All right. And you're here for Melissa?
I am.
All right, come on up.
Okay. I'm Lillian Molina, and I'm Melissa's assistant. And from what I'm told is I'm here for a signed contract for the insurance for Century High School, for the Field of Heroes, and also the contract for the school district for Field of Heroes.
Okay. You had a chance to look over this one?
I have not seen that. I don't know if that one has.
Check out the indemnity clause. in
Yeah, that's
particular.
indemnification from the school district.
Yes. Okay, so,
We talked about it a little bit the other day, Friday.
let's see. Yeah, my only recommendation would be to take out the indemnification.
So even with that last statement there, you'd want it taken out?
Are you talking on 21 under provision?
The indemnity clause,
Right.
the last sentence.
It's, I mean, that could give us some room to argue. I know if they want one, I like the language that we prepared. I think it puts more of a line on what we're agreeing to indemnify. But
Fair enough.
they could, that's just, I'm always trying to stay as far away from the line as possible.
Right.
But this one could give us some room to argue with that last sentence.
Okay, thanks.
So that's up to, of course, the commission.
When we had the discussion Friday, we gotta be prepared to sign these, you know, so there's gotta be the line through them, and then the Idaho code stated in there, or something of that nature, so that when we send it back, I mean, just like the realtors.
Right.
They sent theirs back and said no. But just like this is an entity just like us. And they're signing contracts that have the things that we're saying we can't do. But other entities that are government entities and are doing it. So there's gotta be something in there that we gotta solve. Because it can't come before us every time we have a contract that this is where we're at.
Well, I like your solution, which is to cross it out and reference the code. So, you know, there are, I mean, what I'm seeing here is for a long time, we were not following the correct procedure with respect to this statute. And there are many, many other government entities that are still not following the correct state law. So I think we need to do the right thing on this. Your recommendation, I think, is the right thing to do. And hopefully this not only helps us, but brings to the attention of some of these other government entities that they need to take a look at this.
And I can tell you, we've been working with ISU's attorneys as well, and they agree with us. And so we've been on this path together.
And that's fine. I'm just saying that,
Right,
that we can't keep having the same discussion at every meeting. We gotta, let's do it ahead of time. But if that's what it is, let's cross that out and let's have that in there so that it's kind of ready, that we're all on the same page, that we know that that's a standard that we're gonna follow. And that's the way I feel. So, on this. So one is the license fees. And canceling that, and the other is the contract.
So there's no cost to this, I think it's just.
No, they allow us to use that facility. And it's an amazing event that has gone on for a lot of years. So whatever we need to do to sign the contract, I want to do, because I don't want to, like I said, I get emotional when I drive by there and I see the lights on when I come to work, that's, and it just touches my heart, and I don't want to say no. So, further comments?
No, I agree with you. It's an amazing event.
So, motion?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the contract pending, are you going to scratch that line out?
Indemnification.
With the modifications as discussed.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Indemnification. Like I say, I'd like to go through and have that in there already, the statute, so that everybody's on the same page.
I think this was not presented to legal beforehand, right? Or
I,
maybe it was presented to Alan.
yeah, and Alan did talk to me about it, so I don't know if he got it or not, but it's fine. And with the indemnification clause, I'm happy to send to the commission, whoever comes with a contract, really the language that we've drafted, if they want it, that could fit, or present different options to the commission.
Okay, thank you. All right,
So we're approved?
we're approved.
So we have the insurance and the contract.
Both are signed. We'll send it to the school, and if they reject it, we'll have to have a conversation, but
I'll
yes.
tell Melissa.
You did your part.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
All right, next we have resolutions. Resolution number 2023-40, and this is tax cancellation resolution. Motion on it?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the resolutions as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let's see. Next, under signature only, we have the contract to be able to use the Chubbuck City Hall for our community engagement meeting. And there's no charge to it either.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the facility use request form for Chubbuck City Hall as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have salary rate approval forms. In the consent agenda, we also have an alcohol license, and then we have minutes from March 16th and March 21st. In the salary rate approval forms, there's just a couple. One that we had come to us last week from the Public Defense Office, and there is a letter here. I don't know if anybody got the opportunity to read it.
I did not.
You didn't
I
read
remember
it?
reading all this stuff.
There's another one in your office that'll be presented on Thursday that has the other justification letter.
Okay.
If the board would like to review that prior to the meeting.
And that's with this. Usually when there's a special circumstance, we have the department head come and talk to us, not just a letter. I mean, the first time we didn't get anything, and now we get a letter. He is coming before us this afternoon to talk about budget and his evaluation. So I wouldn't mind holding off and actually, we can still do that in that meeting, approve this, after we have a conversation with the department head. just some of the verbiage in here,
As long as they're even signed by Thursday, the start date is Monday. And then if the board isn't going to sign them, then just if you could communicate with him.
and that's why I like to have them here so we can talk to them face to face and be on the same page. I mean, some of the things that he states in here, either or, and that's why I like a face to face.
Well,
So-
it'll be a great time to tell him to do that in the future.
Oh, and that's the information that he was supposed to get last time. So, anyway. This
I
one.
have a comment on the minutes, on March 16.
Okay, let's go through the salary approval.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure we get that
Then we'll
before.
come back.
Sometimes these motions go fast.
Okay, okay, no problem, no problem. A couple of these were out of the jail, and they're individuals that have advanced, but they haven't received their post yet, and they haven't been able to get into post, and I have no problem with them, so. Then the positions up at the event center.
We had some confusion on those
That's-
as to which fund those were being paid out of, so we're going to try to communicate that a little bit better with that department to make sure they don't just put that it's the event enterprise fund, which has been kind of what had been happening.
Okay.
And it wasn't the correct fund.
Yeah.
But it's now,
Yeah, that's when I looked at the front
it's now
page.
super sloppy, but.
I see that it has your initial, but.
All over it?
But there's everything. And actually, this is an employee that works up there that got a new job.
Yep, she was
So,
promoted.
so it's actually not a new position, but a new job for this individual.
And we met with HR on Monday, and we're going to try to make sure that the descriptions are very clear as to what is happening and not only rely on what the department is putting, because departments are so inconsistent with their wording. If we try to create some consistency or at least make notes on the back so that you know what's going on. We're hoping that'll help. The front of the SAR approval form, usually the department or the employees get. So any notes that are not what we want the employee to see is what should be put on the back.
Okay. What I really appreciate is it has, oh, there's one. They all had the right names on them, except one.
Oh, dang it, I forgot to do that. Which one is that one?
Let's see. This one,
Is it the one I wrote all over?
yep. Yep, just, come on.
See, I was worried about the front and the back.
I was gonna brag on you.
Dang it.
Glad it had all the right names to sign.
Can't be perfect.
Keep her humble.
That's not a problem.
This alcohol license, it's up at our event center for a child's birthday party. That's my, what? All right. Minutes?
Okay, so on the minutes for March 16, on Part 7, that should read 16 million instead of 6 million. March 16, Part 7.
But it should be 16 million, you
16
said there?
instead of 6. Yeah, well, I said 6 initially, and then I corrected myself to 16, so.
Okay. All right, so noted. Any other concerns?
Nope, that was it.
A motion on the consent agenda then.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion we approve the consent agenda with the amendment to the minutes as presented.
For the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.